everyone, and welcome back to Real English with Chloe and Leo. I'm Chloe.
And I'm Leo. And today, we are tackling something that makes even the most confident English speakers break into a cold sweat.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Is it public speaking?
Close, but worse. Because the people watching you are judging you specifically to see if they want to pay you money.
The job interview.
Bingo. Today, we are talking about how to perform successfully in a job interview.
And because this is Real English, we aren't just going to give you tips. We are going to give you the exact phrases, the tone, and the mindset you need to sound confident, natural, and hireable.
Whether you're interviewing in London, New York, Sydney, or a multinational company in Shanghai, these principles work. Let's get into it.
Okay, Leo, let's start with the biggest mistake people make. I've conducted a lot of interviews in my previous job, and I could always tell when someone was in the wrong headspace.
What's the wrong headspace?
The please give me a job headspace. You know, where the candidate comes in, shoulders hunched, and they talk about how great it would be for them to work here. They're asking,
Right? And the successful candidates, they have the opposite energy.
exactly. The successful candidate walks in with the mindset of a consultant. They are thinking, I'm here to see if I can solve your problem. It's an offering, not a begging.
That's such a powerful shift. Let's look at the language difference. If you are in asking mode, you say, I really need this job because I have bills to pay.
Red flag. Too desperate. If you are in offering mode, you say, I've been following your company's expansion into the Asian market, and I see a few areas where my experience in logistics could really streamline your operations.
See the difference? The first one is about you. The second is about them. A successful interview is a business conversation between two equals.
So, our first tip, don't sell your need. Sell your value. Let's teach a key phrase here. If you want to sound like a consultant, use the phrase, what I'd bring to the table is,
Bring to the table. That's a great idiom. It means the skills and benefits you offer. Repeat after me, listeners. What I'd bring to the table is my 5 years of experience in.
perfect. Now that we have the mindset right, let's move to the structure. Leo, how do you start strong? The first 5 minutes are make or break.
Okay, the first 5 minutes. You walk in, there's usually that awkward moment of small talk. Did you find the office okay? Traffic was bad, huh?
A lot of learners hate this part. They think, just ask me the hard questions so I can leave.
Right. But here's the secret. The small talk is the test. They are checking if you are a normal, pleasant human being they want to sit next to for 40 hours a week.
So how do we handle it? Keep it short, positive, and forward moving. If the traffic was bad, don't complain for 5 minutes. Just say,
A bit of traffic, but it gave me a chance to listen to your CEO's latest podcast. Really fascinating stuff.
boom. You've just shown resilience and you've shown interest in the company. That's a power move.
Then comes the dreaded question. So, tell me about yourself.
The question everyone hates. But really, it's just an invitation to give your elevator pitch.
What's the formula for a good elevator pitch, Chloe?
I like the present, past, future formula. Present, who are you now? Past, what relevant experience do you have? Future, why does that lead you to this job?
Let's give an example. Let's pretend I'm applying for a marketing job.
Okay, go for it.
Well, I'm a digital marketing specialist with a focus on content strategy. Over the last 4 years, I've helped my current company grow their organic traffic by 150% by revamping their blog and YouTube channel. I'm really excited about this role because I know your company is looking to expand your video presence, and I feel my background in video production would allow me to hit the ground running.
Hit the ground running. Another great idiom. It means to start working effectively immediately. That was a perfect pitch, Leo. It was 45 seconds, it was relevant, and it connected the dots for the interviewer.
The key is to not just list your resume. They have your resume. They want to hear the story.
Okay, let's get to the scary part. The question everyone fears. What is your greatest weakness?
The trap.
It's only a trap if you fall for the cliches. If you say, I work too hard, or I'm a perfectionist, they will roll their eyes so hard they might strain a muscle.
True. It's so fake. So how do we do it in real English?
You need to show self-awareness and growth. You pick a real weakness, but not a fatal one for the job, and then you show how you are fixing it.
Give me a formula.
What areas am I currently working to improve? What actions have I taken to address this issue? And what results have I seen?
Okay, let's try it. If I'm a project manager, I might say, one area I'm actively working on is public speaking when presenting to large groups of senior stakeholders. I used to get quite nervous and rush through my points. To address this, I joined a Toastmasters club 6 months ago, and I've been volunteering to present at our monthly town halls. I'm actually starting to enjoy it now.
Perfect. You're showing a flaw, but showing proactive effort. That makes you look mature and growth-oriented.
What about gaps in employment? In some cultures, a gap is seen as a red flag. How do we explain that?
Be honest, but frame it as a period of development. Don't lie. If you took a year off to travel, don't apologize for it. Say,
after my last role, I took a career break to travel and gain some global perspective. I actually found it really valuable because it sharpened my adaptability and problem-solving skills. Now, I'm fully refreshed and eager to jump back into a challenging role like this one.
see? You turned a gap into a skill-building sabbatical. It's all about the framing.
Okay, we've talked about words, but let's talk about the music behind the words. In English-speaking business culture, how you say it is often as important as what you say.
Let's talk about energy. In many cultures, being very reserved and quiet is seen as respectful. But in the US, UK, and Australia, if you are too quiet, they might think you lack enthusiasm or confidence.
So we're not saying you need to be a cheerleader, but you need to project calm confidence.
Here's a specific tip: mirroring.
Mirroring?
Yes. You subtly match the interviewer's energy. If they are very formal and slow, you slow down. If they are high energy and fast talking, you speed up a little. It creates a subconscious bond. It makes them feel like you're on the same wavelength.
That's a pro tip. Also, eye contact. In Western business culture, avoiding eye contact can signal dishonesty or insecurity. You don't have to stare them down, that's creepy, but aim for about 70% of the time.
And what about our hands? What do we do with our hands?
Don't sit on them. That looks like you're hiding something. But also don't flail them around like you're conducting an orchestra.
Use illustrators. That's a fancy term for gestures that help explain your point. When you say, "We grew the team," you can gesture outward. When you say, "We narrowed down the options," you can bring your hands together.
It makes you look natural and passionate. If you're nervous, a good trick is to hold a pen or a notebook. It gives your hands something to do.
Leo, let's get into the meat of the interview. The behavioral questions. Tell me about a time you failed. Give me an example of a time you had a conflict with a colleague.
Ugh, these are the worst because they ask for stories. And if you're not prepared, you ramble.
This is where the STAR method saves your life. It's the standard for English interviews.
Let's break it down. SIS, situation, set the scene. One sentence. T, task. What was your goal or responsibility? A, action. What did you personally do? R, result. What was the outcome? Use numbers if possible.
Let's do a live example. Leo, pretend I'm the interviewer. I ask, tell me about a time you had to deal with a difficult client.
Okay, here's my STAR answer. In my last role, I was managing a key client who was unhappy because a delivery was delayed by 2 weeks due to a supply chain issue. My task was to retain the contract because this client represented 20% of our annual revenue. I didn't make excuses. I scheduled a face-to-face meeting, apologized sincerely, and presented a recovery plan. I personally offered them a 10% discount on their next 3 orders and set up a daily email update so they felt informed. In the end, not only did they stay with us, but they actually increased their order volume the next quarter because they appreciated the transparency.
See how structured that is? It's a story with a happy ending. The interviewer is thinking, wow, they can handle pressure. The action is the most important part. You must say, I did this. I called this person. I created this system.
And the result is crucial. If you don't mention the result, the story is incomplete. Even if the result was a failure, you can say, while we didn't hit the target, I learned X, and we applied that lesson to the next project, which succeeded.
Okay, we're reaching the end of the interview. The interviewer turns to you and says, so, do you have any questions for us?
And people say, no, I think you covered everything.
Don't do that. Not asking questions is the biggest red flag. It says, I didn't prepare, or I'm not that interested.
Asking questions is actually a power move. It flips the dynamic. You are now interviewing them to see if this is a good place for you.
So, let's give our listeners 3 killer questions that work for almost any job.
Number 1, the growth question. What does success look like in this role in the first 6 months? How do you measure it?
I love that. It shows you are results-oriented and you want to meet their expectations.
Number 2, the culture question. What do you personally enjoy most about working here? What makes you stay?
This is sneaky. You're asking them to sell the company to you. It also gives you a real glimpse into the culture. If they hesitate or can't think of anything, run.
Number 3, the development question. How does the company support professional development? Are there opportunities for learning or mentorship?
This shows you're ambitious and plan to stay long-term. Companies love that.
Avoid asking about salary or vacation time in the first interview unless they bring it up. Wait until you have an offer to negotiate. Asking about perks too early makes you look like you care more about the benefits than the work.
We've done the interview. You shake hands. You walk out. Is it over?
Nope. The interview isn't over until the follow-up email is sent. This is something so many people skip, but it can be the difference between an offer and a rejection.
The thank you email. It has to be sent within 24 hours. But not just thanks for your time. That's too basic.
Let's give a structure. Subject line. Thank you. Reiterate enthusiasm. Thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me today. After learning more about the role, I'm even more excited about the opportunity, the reinforcement. Mention something specific you discussed. I particularly enjoyed our conversation about the new CRM implementation. It reinforced my belief that my experience with Salesforce would allow me to add immediate value. Soft close. Please let me know if there are any additional materials I can provide to support my application. I look forward to hearing from you.
That's a perfect template. It shows you were listening, you're professional, and you're organized. If there were two equally qualified candidates, the one who sends the follow-up wins every time.
Okay, before we wrap up, let's do a little comedy. Chloe, what is the worst thing you've ever seen someone do in an interview?
Oh, I had a guy once who tried to use slang to sound cool. He said, "Yo, I'm gonna crush it for you guys."
No!
Yes. Look, being friendly is good, but being overly casual, it's a risk. Keep it professional. You can say, "I'm excited to crush my targets," but don't say yo.
Another mistake, talking too much. If the interviewer asks, "Do you have experience with Excel?" don't give a 1-0-minute history of your computer skills. Just say,
Yes, I'm proficient. I use pivot tables and VLOOKUPs daily to manage data.
short, sweet, and using specific keywords to prove you know what you're talking about.
And finally, lying. Never lie on your resume, but also don't lie in the interview. If you don't know something, just say,
That's not an area I've specialized in yet, but I'm a quick learner. For example, last year I had to learn SQL in 2 weeks for a project, and I ended up leading the data analysis.
see? Honest, but you pivot to your strength. Learning agility.
Okay, let's recap the key real English phrases we learned today. This is your vocabulary toolkit for your next interview.
Number 1, bring to the table your unique skills. What can you bring to the table?
Number 2, hit the ground running. Start fast without a long ramp up. We need someone who can hit the ground running.
Number 3, self-awareness, knowing your own strengths and weaknesses. I want to show self-awareness when discussing my weaknesses.
Number 4, the STAR method, structure for stories. Use the STAR method to answer behavioral questions.
Number 5, mirroring matching energy to build rapport. Mirroring the interviewer's energy helps create a connection.
Number 6, proactive, taking action before being told. I'm a proactive problem solver.
And finally, to circle back, to return to a topic later. I'd love to circle back to that point about the marketing strategy if we have time.
All right, Chloe, we've covered mindset, the elevator pitch, weaknesses, body language, the STAR method, asking smart questions, and follow-ups.
That's a lot. But if you take one thing away, listeners, it's this. An interview is a conversation, not an interrogation.
Yes, they want to hire you. They want you to be the one. Your job is to make it easy for them to say yes by showing them you understand their problems and you have the solutions.
If you found this helpful, please hit that like button. It really helps other English learners find the channel.
And subscribe if you haven't already. We release new episodes every week to help you speak real English in the real world.
Now, we want to hear from you. Have you had a tough interview experience, or do you have a success story? Let us know in the comments below. We read every single one.
Thanks for watching, guys. Good luck with your interviews. You've got this.
And remember,
Stay real.